Yeah, that's not a good thing to do, you bozo. Oh my god, look at that. He killed them all. Did he just pull off a Fire Force? Yo, we just went from Fire Force to an All Might Detroit smashing. Boy, between seeing a vision of Kafka slaughtering his old team, to then dropping a flashback for our girl in the middle of a battle, this one definitely had me sure someone was dying, and then lo and behold, they got the W. Make sure you drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around your Patreon so we catch my full live reaction and exclusives. So, between the, like, that double whammy. So, the thing is if you've seen enough anime, one of the most common tropes and cliches is if you drop character backstory in the middle of a battle, you have three possibilities. The safest of the possibilities is that it's just an emotional trigger to make them power up and succeed. Which, if this was Kafka, I would believe that's what they were going for. But because it's one of the main supporting characters, and you could honestly argue she's a main character, but still, she's not Kafka, right? There is a clear difference. So that's not really a possibility. So there's one of two things that happens in these moments. You either A, are showing that because she's about to get gravely wounded, which in return will trigger Kafka into getting out of his slump, because if he doesn't power up, she's gonna die. Or they're showing it because she's gonna die. Now, did I actually think she was going to? No, I thought what was gonna happen was she was either gonna look like she was about to get skewered, which triggers, or she gets skewered and he saves her before it's like a critical wound. And it said no, it was just a flashback. Which is really weird because that doesn't happen often. And I think too, with how much he was struggling, because like that's the thing, right? With last week's episode, he basically has erectile dysfunction, but for transforming. If he transforms, he's very fearful he will go on a rampage and kill the innocent, including people he cares about, which is why that scene of him not only stabbing her, but slaughtering pretty much the entire crew was so impactful, because we could assume, and that's what I assumed last week, but I'm sure there are some people as well who didn't really see why he was struggling so much other than just basic fear, because that's what was going through his head. As he's about to transform, those are the visions of what he thinks will happen if he loses control. But at the same time, you have to believe that your teammate is strong enough to stop you if you do go on a rampage. And I think that's why, you know, we could have went the route of Levi kicking Eren in the head, don't worry, I'll put you down if you go too crazy. But I think what they did was appropriate, and why I think she was the perfect character to be next to him, to be like, trust us, it's fine, we got this. And the way they animated that whole sequence, it just felt so empowering, because had they done all of this last week, it would have worked, but I don't think it would have had the same level of impact. Because watching him struggle all of last week, it actually felt realistic given how they ended the first season. And seeing, you know, not just them getting their shit pushed in. Like, we had Narumi, like, he was destroying that fool. Like, worst comes to worst, you just send him to finish off the other side, right? Like, he's a one-man army. May have questionable Amazon spending habits, but he's a one-man army nonetheless. But the issue that we were having on Kafka's side was that, you know, our attacks don't basically burn the wounds to stop it from regenerating. So no matter how much damage we do, it just repairs. So watching him essentially go from Fire Force to My Hero Academia, which is what I mean is, the initial him blasting through the ant, it reminded me of Shinra from Fire Force, and the way he crushes that heart, to then how he jumps into the sky and he does like an All Might Detroit smash. Like, you know, it smelled god-awful with that rain, because it's all blood, but still, like, what the hell? The show's just remarkable. And I got a comment on last week's video. I think it was on I did get the comment last week, I just can't remember if it was on last week's video or not. It was basically like, when they read the manga, they thought to themselves, this would work better in anime. With how much action there is, this is the type of thing you don't really read, you watch. And yeah, like, I can understand, because while it's not simply all action, this is a very action-oriented show, and the production, from the music to the voice acting to the art to the animation, is so goddamn good. And the emotion it conveys, both with the fear of he's not gonna do it, to oh shit, maybe he will, oh he's definitely dying, to the excitement of that's our f***ing boy, is just remarkable. And I like seeing the people collectively be like, yep, we knew we shouldn't send this stupid ass. I believed in him this whole time. Like, I I get why they were skeptical of him, but it's gonna be so funny to see the level of like hypocrites that will be like, "Ah, Kafka, my boy, never doubted you for a moment." Which, hey, to be fair, I'd rather him have some support than, you know, even if it's support from people who clearly didn't believe in him prior to this, because then it will stop him from getting ED going forward. But either way, it's getting better. Like, this show is criminally underappreciated, and I know this is an insane thing to say, especially if you've been watching me long enough. You know how much I love Dr. Stone. I think Dr. Stone is among one of the best new-gen shonens, that it is criminal that so many people sleep on it. I think equally so with Kaiju number 8. Different styles, for sure, but with the amount of, like, mindless shonen action that is held onto for nostalgia alone, and you know the series I'm talking about. I'm not going to name drop them just to avoid the inflammatory comments, but you know the ones that are surface level boring ass action that does barely anything new. The fact that those same people are sleeping on a show that is legitimately amazing. It's doing kaiju, these monsters, these Godzilla level beasts so well, but with an engaging cast. It's not about being the deepest character cast. It's about having good characters at face value with some decent personal relationship. For Kafka, it's the feeling of feeling inadequate and overcoming that. For someone like her, it's, you know, I appreciate the mother backstory. I appreciate, too, that they didn't just show the mother backstory one time and then she's dead. They showed an entire montage of like 20 different scenes. You don't see stuff like that. It's not just something sloppily put together to just show you the next action scene. This is absolutely a action-dominated series, but the character writing is better than surface level. It's not masterpiece level character writing, but it is much better than surface level, like I think a lot of people give. And it's very disappointing that shows that I don't think deserve shonen popularity are getting it when you have shows like these that deserve the goddamn world. And while I know it's a shorter manga, so it's very likely we will get a full adaptation, it's kind of sad to know that if this was a longer series, it probably wouldn't get a full adaptation because people just don't want to watch it. But thankfully, shorter series means we'll probably get a full adaptation, but yeah, my point remains. Either way, better than last week, and last week was better than most weeks, so yeah, this show's getting better. May have started later in the season, but it is absolutely standing tall next to the other big dogs of this season, and you can't convince me otherwise. If you try to, just know that if there really is a God in this world, God is looking down at you disappointed if you don't preach the truth that this show is absolutely amazing. You'll actually go to hell. It's actually in the Bible. Check it out. I'm not bullshitting. Make sure you drop a like, show your support, subscribe if you're new around here, and yeah, Patrons, where you catch my full live reactions and exclusives. Like, hey, I give video shoutouts to all my patrons. Alright, so today we got Natalia Penna, Chris, Carvather, Lithium Dragon, Plays World, Dredos, and we also have Rajal Paniki. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.